Gale nearly got a flick on that.
Can he put it into the line? He's thinking about going himself. Latape, and Latape! Oh, that's a wonderful goal!
They want to Benjamin. Just holding off him. Benjamin twisting, turning, that's
It's Liam Henderson to deliver. David Gray has scored.
Hello and welcome back to Down the Slope. Hibs have won back-to-back games, back-to-back clean sheets, 2 in a row, and there is just 2 of us this evening. I am joined by Craig. How are you doing, my friend?
All good, mate. All good. Hibs have won, so Harry's happy, I'm sure. So Craig's happy.
Exactly. We'll get. We'll just look. Let's just go straight into the Dundee game. And well, it only makes chronological sense to start with the starting 11, which remained unchanged from the game in Paisley before the international break. We spoke about that last week. Were you surprised that there was no changes?
Nah, huge fan of consistency, mate. I think we're all the same, to be fair. So if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm. The discussions we were having last week, maybe centred around whether Warren O'Hora should play at right centre back, maybe whether Dan Barlasser should be playing in midfield or not, and then maybe Thibaut Clegy and Martin Boyle. But given that is now 5 goals, no goals conceded, 6 out of 6. Do you think there's an acceptance now, or there should be an acceptance that this is probably our strongest 11?
I don't know. I don't know how much I buy into all the strongest 11 type stuff, to be honest. I think we've got an 11 at the moment with players in it that definitely don't deserve to be dropped. But I don't, and is playing well. But I don't necessarily think that means it's the strongest 11. But it's the 11 that at the moment is doing the job. So there's little to no reason to change it. To be fair, I did actually highlight that I would have O'Hora back in, but it's not a major issue really. If you're winning games, then who cares really?
Yeah. I mean, we kind of just try to find back to the game. That I don't know about you, but it started how you thought it would. You know, had we sort of eased ourselves into the game, but started on the front foot. I remember a couple of times sort of, Chris Cadden sort of nicking in on sort of diagonal balls out from the goalkeeper on the west touchline and stuff, and very quickly just started playing the ball in the Dundee half. And did you think from early on that we were sort of going to be seeing that sort of comfortable afternoon that we had sort of hoped and expected for?
Yeah, to be fair, pretty much right from the start. I thought we started the game reasonably well, and like you say, really built as the first half went on. To be honest, I thought we dominated the first half, had chance after chance. We should find ourselves 2-0 up before Bowie scores the first one. He misses a couple of great chances. I know everybody's talking about the header, and he himself was talking about the header, but I actually think he's one where he kind of almost fresh airs it beforehand. I thought that was pretty much as good a chance, just maybe on his right peg, which he's not really confident on. And I think at that time as well, it did stink of a striker that was low in confidence and just not firing really up until he gets his goal. So no, I thought we took full control of the game, to be honest, and it felt like a matter of time.
Yeah, you did touch on some of the missed chances there. Also, you could say Bowie probably missed one total sitter with a header, and let's say another really good chance with the with the sort of cutback from Martin Boyle. Jamie McGrath had a chance as well that he sort of toe poked towards goal that, maybe if it had a little bit more sort of power behind it, probably would have caused the goalkeeper more problems. Barlasser had a good shot from distance, and it was an entirely comfortable 45 minutes. And I mean, had that, 1-0 flattered Dundee at halftime, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I thought, we were good. Again, probably want to see us be a little bit more clinical. I think that's easy to say, to be honest. We kind of say that all the time, and it has been a wee bit of common theme of Hibs
I
so
agree.
far this season. So yeah, we need to start putting games to bed, but we've done enough in the end.
Yeah, I totally agree. The just the level of dominance that we did have in the first half, I think you probably did feel a little bit shortchanged that it was only 1-0. And I do think that dominance sort of started, Craig, or the reason we were so dominant in the game was the effectiveness of the sort of midfield four, probably, if you like, if you want to include the wing backs in that. Thought both Caddens had really good games and kept us on the front foot, but Mulligan and Barlasser appear to be, and to be fair, actually, with McGrath in front of them as well, that they seem to really be moulding and clicking together. And I mean, I think the Hibs Observer shared Barlasser's sort of passing statistics and distances and completions and stuff, and I think we really did see the best of him specifically the weekend.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought it was actually quite interesting at the weekend because it's the first time probably the first time I've really noticed it, is that Barlaser and Mulligan seem to be complementing each other quite well. Like, they were both picking up for their not so good sides to the game. So Mulligan was being that mobile midfielder, making a lot of busting runs from midfield, getting to the byline for Bowie's chance, just driving about the place like we know he can. And Barlaser was being the guy on the ball, spreading a lot of times in the first half. He was pinging it out to Cadden from sort of right centre of midfield. That sort of when he was coming in and dropping the ball off a Rocky or off a Chris Cadden, and then just spreading it back across. So it was good. I thought they were starting to complement each other well, and in the second half as well. At the start of the second half, we were still seeing kind of signs of that as well. Obviously, Mulligan getting a chance off the back of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, the majority of the talking points that we got sent in after full time and stuff was highlighting the effectiveness of Barlaser, and I do think I do think I think it can go unnoticed maybe, and I think this was really good at last year. Just the ability to quickly switch to play. I think when you play with back three with the two big wing backs obviously very wide, and to really utilise that, you need to get the ball to them in space. And then especially with the makeup of them as well, they're not. They like to probably build up a head of steam if they don't necessarily always want that sort of fullback and right in front of their face when they get the ball. So I think the ability to get from side to side very quickly is absolutely instrumental in sort of how we play in this system and be effective and efficient. And ultimately that's what leads to the goal in the first half. Nicky Cadden does well down in the left hand side. Sort of spins back on himself, finds Kieran Bowie, and Chris is actually highlighting in the comments very very similar finish to that on the opening day of the season. Sort of just smashes it low and hard and makes it very difficult for the keeper.
It's the first touch. It's bizarre. It was literally a carbon copy, that first touch, to take him away from the defender, and he spins on it. And it's, to be fair, it's something that he's quite good at, and he's shown signs of, not just obviously those two carbon copy ones, but overall is sort of taking a heavy touch away from his defender and put it onto his left foot and then trying to have a ping. And to be honest, I think with his physicality, it's something he could do more. He could do it more. Because sometimes he just looks like he's got defender's number, like he's got them in the back pocket and he could just kind of do what he wants. I think maybe a wee bit of confidence there as well, and hopefully as he gets more of these things, he's got the World Cup team for that we should be seeing more of that type of thing for Bowie. I mean, the relief on his face after he scored was so clear, like it was like a weight had come off him, which is obviously brilliant because he clearly was feeling it.
Yeah, and then obviously we'll get on in the second half. He goes on and gets an assist in the second half as well. Like, is it? You could probably feel it around the ground of relief as well. When he does hit the back of the net, and like you would think that will be massive for obviously Bowie, but also the team in general. Your number 9 finding the back of the net and maybe getting out of a little slump.
It's got to be. We've seen firsthand in previous years, not so much recently to be fair, but maybe in the last sort of 10-15 years with the likes of Griffiths, how much it can help you and how much it can mean to your season having a number 9 that's on form and scoring loads of goals. Obviously he's pretty much single-handedly got us places in those years when we were absolutely terrible. So if we can have a half decent team around us, and then also have a number 9 that's firing goals in as well, that's obviously a good thing. But to be fair, Gray's highlighted on a number of occasions as well, and I think it's clear for everybody to see that he doesn't just offer that goals. That's not what his game is solely about. He offers a lot more than that. But I do think that with his sort of goal drought and a wee bit of a slump in his form recently, it's not just the goals that are missing. The all-round performance has kind of faded away as well.
Yeah.
Which I think is inevitable with a striker, because that is ultimately what they feed off his goals. So hopefully that'll kick him on and he can kind of get back to a bit better form.
Yeah, obviously a superbly worked goal gets our second goal after the break. One that, again, given the pattern of playing the first half, I don't think we'd started the second half in as sort of dominating fashion, at least. But we were definitely more than worthy of getting our second goal. A very nicely taken goal from Jamie McGrath. I think it's a very intentional finish, but not his cleanest strike. I think he is definitely meaning to find the near post.
I thought maybe it took a slight nick on the way through. I've not seen like a good enough angle on it to actually confirm that or not. But just the way the ball moved, it looked like it took a wee nick. But it doesn't matter. It was a well taken goal, lovely setback by Bowie, good work by Mulligan again. I mean, that guy is just so good. Like, I love him. He's so good. The way he gets the ball and drives. I think there's something to be said about players, and young players can learn off of Mulligan, that sometimes in football, if you just get the ball and put your head down and run, like defenders just hate it. They do not know how to deal with it. And short of smashing you or clipping your ankles, it's difficult to stop.
Yeah, and that is where the John McGinn comparisons come from as well. It's not it is the willingness to get you 20, 30, 40, 50 yards out of the pitch to when he does get in full flow, he's hard to stop. He'll drive into the box. He's willing to have shots, and the rawness, that you've seen of John McGinn. I think Persevere Originals has obviously tweeted the anniversary of the games and stuff like on this day. It feels like the last few weeks quite a lot. It's been like championship stuff, and you see clips of John McGinn, and the player you see now playing for Scotland and Villa is definitely not that player. There's much more there's a lot less culture to his game, and that probably feels like what you're seeing from Mulligan just now as well. Which I think it's nice to even to have a player in the team that you could maybe see similarities to. That's a nice thing to have at least. But McGrath was good, well worthy of his goal. I thought, again, really unlucky just before that. Obviously hitting the bar with a lovely effort. But it's probably from the second goal, did see a drop off.
I would probably slightly disagree with what you said earlier in terms of we didn't start the second half, and maybe not quite as dominant, but to be honest, I felt like it was a matter of time before the second came as well. Like when it was 1-0, I felt under no threat whatsoever, and it just felt like attack after attack for us, and you're just waiting on the second goal. But like you say, after the second goal, we definitely did drop off a wee bit. When I was kind of discussing it with my dad afterwards, and I was saying, for the last 10, 15, but to be honest, it probably extended a wee bit longer than just the last 10, 15. I feel like we got the second goal, and then maybe the foot just came off a wee bit. Albeit we still did have chances, but Dundee definitely did as well. A couple of really good chances in particular, and I felt like we kind of fed into it. Definitely in the last 10 minutes, we started to give the ball away cheaply a couple of times, and you could feel the crowd getting a wee bit anxious towards the end, which definitely didn't help.
Yeah, this if I'm being honest, and this isn't, it's absolutely not a criticism of the manager by well, certainly not in my opinion, but the subs didn't really have much of an impact. I don't feel like whereas I think in recent games they have, obviously, notably, Hoyle at home, Livingston, Chaiwa scored at St Mirren, and again, it's not a criticism by any means, but it is maybe the sort of goal that the sort of game that you would think players would come on and thrive in. and
Mhm.
kind of want to carry on. I'm thinking like Cleege, thinking there's a couple of goals here, or it was a bit of an interest. It was a bit flat, wasn't it? Outside what was two unbelievable saves, obviously from the goalkeeper as well. But
Aye,
yeah,
no, we definitely did. We definitely did go a wee bit flat. It's difficult to say whether that is the changes or whether that's just what happened in the game, the pattern of the game. We were 2-0 up, and I think sometimes inevitably your foot does come off the gas a wee bit, and you start to get to relax a wee bit, maybe think the game's done. And it's not luck, because that's why you've got a goalkeeper, obviously, and that's why you've got a good goalkeeper. But from the outfield player's point of view, it is a bit of luck that Salinger managed to get his hand on that one, because it could have got a wee bit tasty at the end. We've all been at Easter Road when it's been that sort of end to the game, and it definitely gets a wee bit toxic, and the crowd gets on the back, and you start to panic a wee bit, and you suck deeper, and you start inviting them on even more, and then at that stage you're just one lump into the box away from it being
disaster.
two each. But look, we didn't do that. Our keeper made a top save, and that does show the value in having a good goalie in there.
Yeah, I thought like it's probably easy in hindsight, to say like once the game is finished 2-0, but I do feel like even if Dundee scored, it probably would have actually just got us to get our shit together again and go again. If I'm being honest, like that was sort of how I was feeling. I do think we lost. I think Chris highlighted that maybe we lost a little bit when Bowie sort of looked like he'd sort of run himself into the ground, and the midfield as well. I actually felt I said at the game that I think it was probably around the 80th or 85th minute that like if Joe Neal is fit, I would have got him on for Mulligan, because I just thought that obviously Barlassard went off at that point, but I thought we did just look knackered towards the end of the game, which is I don't think it's a concern. I think I do wonder if there was players in the team that were maybe doing some like heavy lifting maybe at the weekend in terms of but like Boyle's done a lot of travelling, Rocky had travelled, Iredale had travelled, so like was there like players that like I thought Boyle was really quiet. Like was Bowie sort of doing a lot of the pressing and stuff, like because it's hard to maybe find why that could be. But then also when a game's so comfortable, maybe just subconsciously, you maybe not got that adrenaline to then keep you.
I think that's an important thing as well. Is obviously a lot of people, whenever we slow down towards the end of a game like that, it's definitely easy to say, oh, we've switched off, or there's a lack of effort or whatever. But I think a lot of these things are just subconscious, and you don't really. It's not something that you choose to do. It's human nature, and I think that's why maybe having as many leaders on the park at times like that is really important, because these are the guys that you look to kind of snap the team out of that. But I would say I don't want to go as well. No, I do. I think we kind of got away with it a wee bit with that save, to be honest, because I think 8 times out of 10 he doesn't save that, because it's point blank.
It's a superb ball in, isn't it? I actually think it was from your man achieved belief that put it in.
Was it?
Aye, for both their chances, it was his crosses, both of which were very good in an otherwise game where they offered nothing much like the rest of Dundee. But
by the way, just to interrupt you, I'm going to bring up a comment for Chris, and I can't actually put my finger on what ball he's talking about for Salinger, but I don't know if you noticed it at the game. Salinger's passing over the piece is absolutely unbelievable for a goalkeeper. There was one I remembered, I made a note of it in the first half. I think it was the 41st minute, and he pings it out to Nicky Cadden on the East Stand side. It was a fucking beautiful ball, because even for an outfield player, because he had to get it in between two Dundee players, and it dropped right on Nicky Cadden's chest. I was like, mate, that is unbelievable. And then he had that wee scooped pass that he'd done in the second half, which on the run is difficult for a good outfield player to do as well. And it's just something I've noticed. I said to my brother at the time, I was like, how good is this, having a goalie that can actually kick the ball? And I'm massive on a goalkeeper's job is to, if you're not confident with the ball at your feet, kick it to fuck and save the ball. That is your first and foremost. That is your job. but he's doing the saves, but he's also quite handy with the ball at his feet as well.
I thought,
He made one mistake in the second half, but that was throwing it out where he got a wee bit
I
wasted.
just didn't have to do. I just
He didn't need to do it. But
He-
his distribution is helping us massively at the moment.
he is. I think he's been. It's an interesting one. I think I asked the question in the group chat earlier. Maybe I deleted it, but he has been immense. Really, do you know? I think he took a little bit of time probably to settle in to see this level of form, which is understandable. You know, given that he hadn't played football in terms of anything sort of consistent since sort of the back end of last season. But and again, like Smith hadn't. Smith had probably got over his wobbles, you know, like so Salinger came in at Ibrox and then played at Falkirk, and that's sort of been it since. Like I think Smith wobbles were more in the European campaign. I think, you know, like and then he sort of started the season okay, but he definitely brings a calmness and a presence that, I mean, coupled with some of the saves he is making, you know, he made a great save at St Mirren. I would actually say 2 very good saves yesterday. Obviously, one on Saturday, but yeah, and then you sprinkle in the coming for crosses, the distribution. You know, it's not a case that we're sitting here going like his distribution's really good, but there's other areas of his game lacking. He looks a real well-rounded, very good find from Hibs ultimately, and we obviously got that bit of business done early as well. We sort of announced that in May, didn't we? So I just really, really, really impressed with sort of how he settled into life at Hibs, I suppose, and if you believe in sort of foot mob and stuff like that, he was our highest rated player at the weekend, and I suppose a lot of that will come down to the save he made. But we've spoke a lot about him and Barlaser. Was there any other individuals that you want to highlight from the weekend?
I thought Chris Cadden had a decent game again. He's become a bit more steady recently, I would say. He's just kind of ticking over, which is, to be fair, is what I would expect for Cadden.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I did notice, actually, just while I'm on the subject of Cadden, because you were kind of highlighting earlier about moving the ball out to the wing backs quickly. I know we had a wee debate, mind Livingston away, before the game. We were talking about how high the wing backs should be, and we were having a talk about that. And it was at the weekend I noticed that actually kind of go along with your point. I actually thought at 2-0 up, I thought a wing back should have been a bit higher, because there were so many times, obviously because Dundee have had to come out for it a wee bit. There were so many times that if Cadden, like Chris Cadden, I should say, if he had his starting position had been maybe
more like that in the first half,
yards, higher up, the ball, if we could move it quickly out to Cadden, he was down, and we'd done it one time in the second half towards the end, and he was fucking away, and it was because I think maybe was it Mulligan had the ball in the middle of the park. It was Mulligan spun on it and had it in the middle of the park, and then it went out to Cadden after that, and it was just because Cadden took it by the scruff of the neck and says, right, I'm going. And then they have to find me. Rather than waiting on them to see him and then running, he just fucking went. And it's something I thought, from Chris Cadden's point of view, hopefully they would highlight it after the game and all their analysis, that, mate, if you just go, and then obviously within the reasonable realms in terms of keeping yourself on side, but if you just go, let them find you, because you've got Barlaser and Mulligan in there. They're both capable passers. They've both got good vision. Particularly Barlaser, I feel like he'll definitely pick these things up. And if they know that a run's going to be there, they might be more inclined to just turn, hit it, kind of instinctively. But if he can just maybe a starting position 5-10 yards higher up the park, rather than thinking so much about being overly defensive and protecting a 2-0 lead, let's go and try and kill the game and get the third. And that's kind of maybe what we were talking about. With before, when we were conceding a lot of late goals, is going for it rather than worrying about seeing a game out. Fucking go for it and finish the game off.
I just think you've seen in the front, and again, this I was at the time when we were talking about a game against Rangers, and Rangers is a totally different kettle of fish, also to playing Dundee at home. But I just think your wing backs in this formation are so influential to where you can actually play and where you can press in it as a team. But we've had a really important question coming. I'm assuming this is Colin from Longbangers, Colin WLB. So currently having a debate in the house, 3v2, but the two are a very noisy minority. Question is sirloin or fillet, sirloin/fillet, or turkey for Christmas dinner?
Oh, well, to be honest, mate, I've got a very easy answer for this, and I'll break it down for him, Colin. Turkey is just no for me. It's a big shit chicken, which is terrible business pattern for me because obviously I'm looking to sell plenty of them. So between the sirloin or fillet overpriced for what you get. It's the market price for that is ridiculous. Get yourself a nice big fat sirloin. You'll get double the weight for the same price. Get yourself a nice sirloin. Eat that.
How are you cooking it, Craig? If you were in Colin's house in charge of,
In terms of like actually physically make it, or how do I want it done? Like done
what
this
would be your method if you were in charge? You were cooking
method,
it.
nice. Have it out the fridge. Good couple hours before. Get up to room temp. Salt it. Plenty of salt because most of it comes off. Nice hot pan. Sear. Depending on how thick it is, you can pop it in the oven for a bit as well, just to finish it off. Have a temp probe on hand. I know any barbecuers or serious barbecuers out there will agree with that one. Any people who think they're a chef will maybe disagree because they think they can just touch a steak and decide how done it is. Play it safe. Use the temp thermometer. You know exactly where you are. There you go.
Bish bash bosh. Before the game on Saturday, we were invited down to the 150th anniversary visitor centre, which is in the old ticket office. Colin, we'll come back to the Christmas follow-up in the next sort of nice.
I hope I've not upset Colin with that one.
In fact, we'll just go back. Colin says that's what they normally say. They hate turkey all year. They're banging on now. I've just suggested that sirloin's my preference. So
Colin, can you confirm that we're on the same wavelength in terms of you'd rather have sirloin than turkey there? Because if so, what guy?
So I do get it, by the way. Like we have turkey every year, and
so do we.
Lauren makes it really nice, and but you're never eating it any other day of the year, out with maybe Boxing Day. Do you know what I mean? Like it's I think there's plenty of time for Christmas dinner chatting in the next couple of weeks. But we were invited down to the visitor centre by the club, and it was for the 150th anniversary. It's open Monday to Friday. I think you can book your place in through. I think it's through just through the online ticketing the e-ticket and Ticketmaster page. Really interesting. Share some pictures on the screen for those on YouTube just now. Just a couple of the sort of displays and stuff that are in there, and Liam took some videos as well that we will maybe put together and put out on Twitter during the week. You can have a little look at that. It was good, Craig, wasn't it? Really interesting.
It was, mate. It was absolutely fascinating. To be fair, I think you could spend a good amount of time in there just walking around. You easily could kill upwards of an hour in there if you're really into it. I know Liam was fascinated with the wall of names that had made one appearance for Hibs. That was class. That was really good and interesting to see. And some names. We should have took photos of that because it would have been perfect for our random player
we do
episode.
have a video of it. I just haven't sharing the video on the live episode purely because it would get confusing, because I think you can hear me and you talking in the background. So do you know what I mean? But and Colin's on the same wavelength as you. So there you go. Smash sirloin in Colin's household on Christmas. I think surely if you're getting a butcher involved and he's leaning that way, that majority rules in it. But right. Yeah, the visitor centre was really good. If anyone's got the time, I would absolutely
definitely give it a look.
Down. As it stands, I think it's only there for this season. So don't just think it'll be there forever. If you get the opportunity to go, absolutely go and take it in. It was really interesting, and it was a nice. It was actually obviously it's not open on a match day normally, but it was a cool start to sort of a game day. But yeah, Motherwell on Tuesday evening. When you factor in, Craig, that we've already played a game more than Celtic and Rangers directly above us and below us, and we're the only two teams that are playing midweek. It's do you think that makes it almost feel a little bit bigger? Because the team above and below you are sort of going to have two games in hand on you and stuff.
I think game in hands always have that feeling like they're just automatically going to be a win. Like if the team below you's got a game in hand, you're just like, oh well, they're definitely going to win it. When the reality is, obviously, they're not definitely going to win it. I don't know. I don't know if that does make it bigger. Maybe it does. It feels like a big game anyway. I feel just because of the context in terms of if we get that 3 points, where it can take us and how close it can take us to the teams above us. So, to be honest, I don't know. I don't really have an answer for you there, but it feels like a big game regardless.
Motherwell have obviously had a really similar start to the season to us. They've played one game less than us and won one game less. Drawn 6, lost 2. Only won 4 games. They scored plenty of goals, have conceded plenty of goals. Yeah, I mean, our records are fairly similar. We scored 23, they've scored 20. We've conceded 14, they've conceded 15. Had a lot of plaudits, for the football that they've played. Took a real sore one at Hampden. What have you seen of Motherwell? What have you sort of heard? What do you expect to see tomorrow night from our opposition?
Well, do you know what? I've actually only watched them maybe once or twice. I watched them against Rangers right at the start of the season, and I was well impressed with them, particularly in the second half. I thought they were very, very good and were worthy of 3 points that game. I think they only drew it.
They did.
But they're a bit like us in terms of the draws, really, aren't they?
Yes.
We're the two teams that draw the most games in the league. If you're a betting man, you'd be envisaging a draw tomorrow night, I would imagine. But I've heard obviously a lot about them on Sports Sound. I listened to Sports Sound loads before the games on Saturdays and stuff on the way in. And after coming back, and they talk a lot about Motherwell, how good the style of football is, but they're just failing to get the results ultimately. But much like a striker, I think it's like you're always better being in the position where you're going to get chances rather than not making them at all. And if they're playing well and the performances are there, I'm sure their manager will be hoping that results will come along with that eventually. So I think it will be a difficult game. Obviously, they went to Kilmarnock and, by the sounds of it, dominated the game.
Certainly in the first half.
I think, was it 3-1 it finished?
3-1, aye. Finished 3-1, aye.
Mate, if you're going away to Kilmarnock and scoring 3 goals and only conceding 1, I would say that's a pretty tall task, to be honest.
All the sort of metrics around goals and goals against, and even things like XG and stuff, we're pretty much side by side. In terms of on a sort of per 90-minute basis. Obviously, it ended. We've got a slightly better defensive record. I've scored slightly more goals, but we have played that extra game as well. I think it'll be a really interesting game, a really balanced game. I actually think it's going to be a game that will suit this Hibs team down to the ground, though. We don't particularly care about how much possession we have or don't have. Motherwell want to dominate the ball. They want to win games by passing teams to death. They from what I've seen, they'll go direct as well. I think their third goal at the weekend wasn't necessarily 50 passes. It was like 2 passes in behind and led to a penalty. But I think I just look at the way that this game will set up and think it will suit us. We've got defenders that are really comfortable defending their box. We've got midfielders, especially Josh Mulligan, that thrive in sort of turnovers and transitions. And I think there'll be goals there for us tomorrow night. I think there'll be plenty of opportunity for us to hit them. To hit them on that sort of transition, like I say, and that's where I think a lot of our joy will come from, and that leads me to thinking that it's a big game for your Jamie McGrath. If he plays, which I assume he will do. Obviously, it's a fairly quick turnaround. But I think the players in the final third are going to get plenty of opportunity. And if they're on it, you might be looking at a game where we pick them off on the counter attack 3 times. If they're off it, you might be looking at a game where you've had 1 shot on target and 30% of the ball. Do you know what I mean? Like I think there'll be a lot. It'll be like a moment's game where if we are on it in the final third and we pick the right pass, then we could probably kill them. I think. But they've got a striker in form as well. I think they've got a top goal scorer in the league, Masranisi. So
he looks a player like his mind when they came in. It was like they had 0 reputation. And they weren't expecting anything out of him at all, and he's turned out to be a very decent acquisition for them. Like,
it looks like just been at Leicester all his days. Never played first team football. Played once in the FA Cup.
He was announced right before a game as well, like literally right before kickoff.
6 and 30 last season in the league. This season already he's got 7 and 12 coupled with 4 and 7 in the League Cup. So
Yeah.
knows what the back of the net is.
He's a
But
handful.
yeah, mentioned Jamie McGrath there and the quick turnaround. Do you think we'll see a couple of changes? The squad looked incredibly strong at the weekend as well. You know, like Josh Campbell wasn't even in the squad. There's someone else who wasn't in the squad as well. Manny wasn't in the squad. There was someone
Chaiwa.
else. Chaiwa, yeah. So do you think we'll see that squad depth utilised a little bit tomorrow night?
It sounds as if I think Campbell's definitely going to miss out, and I think they're going to see how Chaiwa is because he was ill. But it sounds like he's not going to be in the squad again. To be honest, it didn't sound too great. I would definitely expect changes coming from, obviously, you highlighted yourself earlier, a lot of players being away on international duty, a lot of travelling. Obviously, Grant Hanley coming off the back of the week that he had, I feel like that can't not emotionally drain you a wee bit, and then come right back into a game on the Saturday and then the Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I would expect some sort of change to be nothing massive, but just to freshen things up, maybe one or two or something like that.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't surprise me if Obita played at left wing back. Not through any fault of Nicky Cadden's. I actually think he was probably potentially actually just had his two best games back to back of the season. But I think it just wouldn't surprise me. Just I feel like Cadden's often one, especially if we've got a quick turnaround to an away game as well. I feel like there is quite often that he is the player that maybe drops out, and Obita gives you that maybe extra little bit of defensive stability that I think we will need tomorrow night at times, and then maybe Warren O'Hora will come in at right centre back, and maybe Rocky will move in one, and then I'll throw in one more change with Cleege for Boyle. I really hope Jamie McGrath plays. I just have a concern. He normally goes off after about 60, 70 minutes, but he played 90 on Saturday, which is unusual in itself, and I just wonder, just purely the fact that he does normally play an hour, but that's 4 changes that I've just mentioned there, and I don't know if I want to see that many, but I do think there'll be 2 or 3.
I think 4 would probably be a bit much, like for me in terms of consistency and stuff. You're looking to play a very, very similar lineup most of the time if you can. Obviously, we were talking at the start about how if it's not broke, don't fix it, and I think the changes definitely going into tomorrow will literally just be to freshen it up. Albeit I don't hate, I also don't think it's entirely necessary. Like you say, I think maybe with Nicky Cadden, albeit is definitely more of an away game player. He just is in terms of he's got that more defensive ability. He's still got plenty ability going forward, but I think he definitely does get that solidity into the team. But if Cadden's riding a wee bit of a wave, just keep him in, and let's try and get his form back, because even Cadden's balls into the box, they were starting to get a wee bit more consistent at the weekend. I felt like he was hitting his mark a bit more often than he has been so far. There's still a few that weren't great, but it was definitely like it was coming. Hanley, I've been convincing myself with Hanley that he's going to be coming out the team for a break for the last fucking 5 or 6 games. So I'm like, surely Saturday, Tuesday after that week, he's going to come out. Definitely Rocky goes back into the middle and O'Hora plays right centre half. I'd really much rather McGrath stayed in, to be honest. I think he gives you that superb ability on the ball. He looks like the guy that's going to unlock things for us at the moment. And then up top, I'm not particularly bothered, but I wouldn't be against Cleege getting back in the starting 11, to be honest. And I think it's quite a good opportunity, games like this, when there's a quick turnaround, to rotate without players feeling like they're being dropped. Because
yeah, I agree.
The turnaround.
I think
hates it.
I think the changes that I'm mentioning, they're not necessarily changes I want. It's just what that I think we might see. I would be absolutely delighted if we have the exact same starting 11 on Tuesday. Like, I think if rotation, or in terms of just the close proximity of the games, was not a factor, then yeah, I wouldn't even consider making a change.
If you had to pick two changes, who would it be?
I think based on performance as well, I would probably say Boyle for Cleege. I think of probably everyone that played at the weekend, Boyle was probably the quietest. Still could have had an assist if Bowie sort of was a bit sharper early on. And then a second change, Maybe just a horror for Rocky. I know that's not what I say. I say about Billy. I would not like if it was just if my hands were forced, I would want Hanley to play. So do you know, like
Yeah, I'd literally do exactly the same.
yeah, I
would do
think
exactly the same.
I still think yeah. I think probably I know
Maybe
I
only
mentioned earlier
Hanley.
about yeah. I think I know I said earlier about is it being our strongest team, and I still think Rocky can get exposed a little bit out in the wider areas. I think back to obviously it is a dive for their penalty shout, but I
Yeah.
don't think the play that leads up to it is great defending. You know, getting
Yeah,
sort
he
of beat
got
on the
this.
outside,
Oh, you're being
and
kind there. He got
and
exposed
then
badly.
and then I think back to the Kelly game earlier in the season as well. He sort of got done in that same corner. They scored right before half time, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, it was
Like
it was
so,
exact same movement, just
yeah.
ran down the line and done him.
So that would maybe be like if yeah, I think if you were forcing me into making two changes, that would be the two that I'd want to see. And I suppose there's the factor as well, Craig, now where you can make 5 subs. Do you know what I mean? Like
Aye.
you can if you think folk have got an hour in them, then you've got ample opportunity to change it up. So maybe that actually takes away the the sort of need for changing to the starting 11. Unless you've got any further business, I think we'll take a score prediction and get out of here.
Aye, well, just one more point, just on Rocky. Obviously, I don't want to make it as if we're bashing him, saying he can't play there. I just think he looks slightly uncomfortable there, and whenever he gets dragged out to the line, that's when it feels like trouble. I think he's much better when he's in the centre of the box and he knows he's just got to protect that area. It relies on probably not less covering pace, but it's a different type of recovery run. When he's in the centre, he can just run straight back. Whereas when he's getting dragged out wide, that's when the space is left in behind him, and
his pace also allows him to cover for the other two
exactly,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So I think he just does look better in the centre. So I'd maybe move him back in the centre and O'Hora at right centre half, give Hanley a break. Anyway,
I think
score
J-Star
prediction.
and Chris are agreeing with me saying O'Hora surely will come in at some point because he was our best player until he missed the game, and then Chris says he thinks we'll need Rocky's pace in the back line tomorrow.
I agree. They know ball, they know their stuff.
Yes, give me a score prediction and maybe a little goal scorer in there as well. We all knew Kieran Bowie was going to score against Dundee. Is it a Hibs player that always scores against Motherwell? Can you really think?
Not
Boyle's
currently, I don't know.
By the way, Boyle's probably got a pretty good record at Fir Park off the top of my head. I don't know. You think did he?
I remember scoring a penalty.
Scored penalty first day of the season there. He definitely scored against
Oh, when was it Keepsy made the mistake and he ran through and
yeah.
Aye. So my score prediction, I think it'll be a tight game. I'll say 2-1 Hibs, about to get another goal, and Cleege.
I am going to say I think there's going to be goals in this. I think it's two good attacking teams. I think this game is going to finish 3-2 to Hibs.
3-2, love it.
Aye, that's what I'm going for. 3-2 Hibs. That's my prediction. And my goal scorers will be. I feel like we're due a corner goal, Craig. That's what I feel like we're due.
Mental. I was actually just about to say I would love a set piece goal. I feel like we've not been that great at set pieces recently. I'd love
not
that.
sure that I'm feeling as comfortable with who's going to be in the back three to go for a name, but I'll say a centre back will score, and Kieran Bowie will get on a goal scoring run, and he'll go 2 and 2. Jane Sandy 3-1 Hibs, Bowie brace, Rocky header. That's it. We're right there with you, Craig. I think that will just about do us. Two of us, 45 minutes. That's a good episode. We should be back, all being well, on Wednesday. Looking ahead to the Celtic game on Sunday lunchtime. It will be myself and specs, all being well. So keep your eyes out for that coming. It will most likely be a Breakfast Club episode as well, so it will be in the early hours of Wednesday.
Work for
Cheers!
home wankers. Cheers.